Next on.
Ngoja niulize jamaa, nani hapa hivi amepimwa hivi majuzi?
Bara kwa Mwangi, si ni 10 bob.
Sijasema kupimwa wei. Saa hizi kupimwa HIV ni haraka na ni bure.
Nikimwacha mama alikuwa mzima kabisa. Nini lifanyika?
Sikiza Riri. Sasa mimi nakwambia, mimi sasa hivi natoka hospitali. Kwa hiyo mimi sijui lilotokea hapo katikati.
Kukuwa na HIV si eti ni mwisho.
Wewe uko nayo?
Mimi nilishapima.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
Lazima wazingatie matibabu ili kuboresha kinga mwilini. Lazima wahakikishe wamepata dawa ipasavyo. Tembelea kliniki yako au kituo cha afya kilicho karibu nawe kwa maelezo kamili kuhusu jinsi ya kupata dawa. Pia wasaidie jamaa na rafiki kupata dawa. Dumisha mawasiliano nao na ufuate mwongozo wa kiafya kutoka kwa kituo cha afya ili kujikinga na virusi vya korona. Pata habari kuhusu COVID-19 kupitia vyanzo vinavyoaminika. Piga 719 au bonyeza *719#. COVID-19 inazuilika. Jilinde, linda familia na jamii. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na serikali ya Kenya.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Edward Kabasa, and Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Bomet County COVID-19 Emergency Response Team is tracing 7 people after a passenger they traveled with from Nairobi aboard a South Rift Matatu Sacco tested positive for coronavirus. The man who reportedly traveled from Nairobi to Bomet unwell called the Bomet County Emergency Response Team on arrival and was picked for testing immediately, where he tested positive.
Panic has gripped Bomet County after a COVID-19 person traveled from Nairobi to Bomet, knowingly aboard a South Rift Matatu Sacco. Confirming the incident, Bomet County Governor Hilary Bachok said contact tracing was ongoing as the 8 people who were aboard the Matatu are being sought for testing.
I report that there is somebody who traveled all the way from Nairobi to Bomet. And when he alighted in Bomet, he contacted our county rapid response team for support, indicating that he had tested positive for COVID-19 in Nairobi. So when our team got that information, this individual was taken to Longisa Referral Hospital for isolation.
The governor urged Matatu sector to adhere to guidelines by the Ministry of Health to avert the spread of coronavirus now that the lockdown has been lifted and many people are leaving Nairobi that has been identified as a hotspot.
We also wish to appeal to all the persons who have been identified to be positive not to travel. If you have confirmed that you are positive, please don't travel until you are declared free of coronavirus.
The county has so far recorded 13 cases of coronavirus. Already there are fears that lifting of Nairobi lockdown will trigger mass exodus as many people have lost their jobs and cannot afford basic amenities, opting to return to their rural homes, further spreading the virus. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
A 3-year-old girl perished last night after a huge fire grazed down a section of Haresa village on the outskirts of Mandera town. The inferno burnt down 8 houses to ashes, with the minor dying helplessly in a family house.
These are the remains of what used to be the Haresa village in Mandera town. A mysterious night fire razed down 8 houses to ashes and in the process robbed the life of a 3-year-old girl who died helplessly in a family house. Ahmed Bore, a resident, said nothing was salvaged in the raging fire that lasted for 3 hours.
Sasa moto imechukua manyumba karibu 3 na 4 hivi. Kwa hivyo ile kitu ilikuwa kwa yote, vyombo iko ndani, pesa iko ndani, kibanda iko ndani. Hakuna kitu kimetoka katika hiyo nyumba.
Adan Mustafa from the Red Cross Society said the affected families have received food supplies, bedding and other household goods to enable them continue with their life.
We did a very quick assessment just to assess the situation on the ground. We have managed to support all the affected households with food items, especially the shelter component and other items like tarpaulin paper, blankets, jergens, mosquito nets, soaps, among others.
Authorities have launched investigation to establish the cause of the inferno. The families for now will be forced to sleep in the cold, even as the country continues to observe the nationwide night curfew imposed by the government.
One person has been killed and dozens of livestock stolen in a banditry attack on a village in Olmoran, Laikipia County. Sinyene Rupe, a teacher in a local primary school, was shot dead by a heavily armed group of men who also made away with 18 goats. Locals are now blaming security apparatus in the region of Laxity in the face of runaway insecurity that has seen them live in fear.
It is a bandit world, and they are just living in it. This family in Laikipia County is shocked, angered, and is demanding justice for one of their own killed in a ruthless spate of gun violence meted upon them by bandits. Incidences such as this one is not new here. The residents allege that there has never been any meaningful commitment by local administrators to stem the runaway insecurity, a situation that has seen them live in constant fear.
Na kutoka 2019 mpaka sasa tuko na zaidi ya watu 13 ambao wameuliwa.
Hatuna mwelekeo. Kenya sisi ni wanani? Sisi hatuko Kenya? Hao tarawa sisi hawajulikani, wanatoka binguni. Sina marafiki zetu tu hapa.
Mimi ningeomba kabisa serikali kuu pamoja na account, naomba kabisa majukumu ambao watachukua wajaribu kabisa kufuatilia, tujue wale watu ambao walifanya hizo visa ipatikane, kwa sababu ni watu ambao wanajulikana.
In another development, Bishop Francis Mugweru of Joy Springs Soul Winning Worship Center in Juja, Kiambu County, has been murdered. Mugweru's mutilated body was found 300 meters from his Kiganjo home. The clergyman was allegedly accosted by unknown men on Thursday night and assaulted to death.
Alikuwa anauawa kajia unyama sana kwa sababu alikuwa amekatakatwa kichwa, amepondwa na chuma kichwa. Kwa hivyo nikaona hiyo si ukora ya kawaida. Hiyo ni kama jama ilikuwa tu ya kumuua.
Na tunaomba kama inawezekana serikali ikaweze kunyoosha mkono wake na kufanya justice, at least wale ambao walifanya hiyo kitendo kibaya ambacho tumekilaani sana wakaweze kukamatwa na kuadhibiwa kulingana na vile sheria inasema.
Police say Mugweru's ear was chopped off, his fingers and his skull crushed. Bishop's body was taken to a Kiambu hospital morgue. Police have commenced investigations into his death.
And in other matters, a 62-year-old man in Isiolo County who recovered from COVID-19 is seeking justice after health workers at the Garbatula Hospital allegedly shared his photos and biodata on social media platforms. Osman Sharif, who is a trader in the area, is now decrying the immense stigma and massive losses to his businesses following the alleged move by the health workers at the hospital where he had been placed under isolation. The businessman is seeking to sue the county government even after Isiolo County Governor Mohamed Kuti pleaded with him to put the matter to rest.
After recovering from the novel coronavirus, Osman Sharif has now resolved to seek legal redress to compel the county government compensate him for what he terms as malicious damage to his business.
Mimi naishtaki county government na wale walinipiga picha wale madaktari wawili. Mimi niko na mpango ya kupeleka county government kotini, hata nimetayarisha wakili yangu wako Nairobi, anatijarisha kuandika barua na kutuma barua kwa county government.
The 62-year-old trader says he is undergoing immense psychological torture after his photos and biodata went viral on social media. His details, he says, were shared by the health workers at Garbatula Hospital.
Nilipigwa hiyo picha ikuwa sijui. Ameenda kasara nyingi kwa sababu mwezi mzima sijafanya kazi. Alafu paka saa hii mimi mwenyewe nadhifika. Shori kama mji Meru, mji kama Maua, mji kama ile Isiolo ilikuwa mimi naenda kufanya biashara. Paka saa hii hata siwezi enda kufanya biashara ndani kwa sababu kila mmoja ananiogopa. Hata ile wale marafiki zangu wananitoroka. Hata kwa hoteli wakiona watu nikikaa wanaenda kukaa kando na mimi wanasema ndio ile mzee corona.
The stigma, he says, has been extended to his family, posing an unfriendly environment as the trauma takes a toll on them. His quest to seek justice coming days after Isiolo Governor Mohamed Kuti acknowledged the incident and further pleaded with the victim to put the matter to rest.
Kuna makosa kubwa ilitokea hapo, vile mzee walipiga picha na nini. Hiyo ilikuwa nidhamu mbaya. Lakini mimi kwa sababu mimi ni msimamizi, mimi ndo nasimamia hii county. Kama governor ya hii county mimi naomba msamaha kwa mzee huyu na familia yake yote. Sawa sawa? Mtusamee. Sawa sawa? Kwa hivyo hiyo ni makosa. Sio mimi nimefanya, lakini hii ni kitu ambaye haipashwi kutendeka hata kidogo.
Individuals who recover from the dreaded coronavirus have continuously faced stigmatization from the community, some even from close relatives. This notwithstanding the Ministry of Health's plea to the public not to discriminate any individual on such grounds. Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
Police officers in WAJIR County are on the spot of allegations that they are reluctant to arrest and prosecute suspects of defilement and rape in the region. Locals claim police have been releasing rape suspects after they pay about 10,000 shillings as bond. They claim by releasing the suspects, they endanger the lives of victims who are being threatened with death.
Locals in Wajir are now pointing an accusing finger to the police for being complicit in the war against defilement.
Sasa polisi hajaamini mtoto mdogo hii kama anarepiwa. Anasema mtoto kama hii na rape kweli kwa akili. Mimi namwambia mwanaume akili hakuna. Kwa hivyo wewe beleka mimi hospitali. Alisema kama mtoto hii hajarepiwa, mama wewe na haribu hii watu jina, wewe tafungwa.
The locals questioned how suspects are being set free by police after paying only 10,000 shillings as fine.
Why we can't get justice in the Maslaha system? The women are not brought to the table, or the complainant is not brought to the table to say what her problem or his problem is.
They cited a case of a 13-year-old girl who was defiled by a local administrator who was arrested but was later released by police, denying the young girl justice.
Polisi mbili ya wanawake alinipeleka na gari yao. Wakati daktari aliona, alilazwa kwa kitanda, akawasha stima, daktari aliastuka sana, alilia.
Baby carrying a baby is a scary. It's so shocking. I used to think this other Kenyan doing that. But today I witnessed several cases whereby a young girl under the age of 18 is carrying an infant baby and breastfeeding. She is now termed as a mother.
They claim the family of the victim has been receiving threats from the suspect and even enjoy police protection. Locals claim with nowhere to go, victims and their families have been reduced to negotiating with perpetrators of the crime to the detriment of justice, as police are not willing to charge them.
Justice will prevail. So we are telling that justice for our young girl. And we want to tell also one thing. Child defilement is rampant to Wajir. Today we have the highest. 1,300 girls under the age of 18 are pregnant.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnoso.
Lunchtime news, a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And of course, you can keep following us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. On Facebook, we are also there live. Do interact with us. My name is Edward Kabasa. Don't go anywhere. Channel 1 Lunchtime news continues shortly.
My friend, yani wewe unajua kutime sana.
Unangoja wakati tu nimekaa kwa nyumba peke yangu pole, nimenaosha mkono nikule nyama yangu, saizi ndio unanipigia simu. Ulikuwa wapi wakati nilikuwa kwa duka huko naenda kutafuta unga nikuje nipike ugali?
Kupata unajua kutime sana, bonyeza *811 *815 hash. Bonyeza *811 *815 hash.
Utafanya hivi, itabidi hata wewe umengoja.
Welcome back to the program. A group calling itself the Luhya Unity Restoration Forum is calling for an end to the persistent squabbles between political leaders in Western Kenya. The lobby group says the region cannot afford to have its leaders read from different scripts every electioneering period. The remarks come amid growing differences between leaders over the political direction of the Luhya community.
The Luhya Unity Restoration Forum is appealing to Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula to work together for the benefit of the Western Kenya region and development.
We are yearning for unity. So if we see them still getting divided and getting confused, we get concerned.
Tunataka umoja na tunataka development. Na development haiwezi kuja kama hatuna amani na kama hatuna umoja. Na tunataka development isambazwe.
Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who is also the Council of Governors chairperson, and Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, who were recently endorsed to steer the region's development agenda, have denied using the role to play divisive politics. Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula have accused their colleagues of being used as conduits by those hell-bent on scuttling the community's resolve to foster internal unity. Meanwhile, a section of Mount Kenya leaders have differed over the clamor for the region's political torch in the ongoing succession politics. Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata is accusing former Gatanga Member of Parliament Peter Kenneth of holding premature campaigns and scheming to succeed the head of state as the Mount Kenya kingpin.
Mgojee mpaka 2022 hapo ndio tutaingia siasa. Kwa hivi sasa kiongozi wetu ni mmoja, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Ni yeye yuko ametushikilia, tugojee tusiingie kwa hivi sasa ili watu wetu waweze kusaidika na maendeleo.
I would plead for now. It is in our best interest for those that come from Mount Kenya region that we go slow on politics.
Some leaders led by Gatanga Member of Parliament Joseph Ndwati, however, differed with Kang'ata, arguing that Kenneth is well within his right to seek the support of the region ahead of the 2022 political contest.
When they see Peter Kenneth, they are interpreting it to mean a lot. But we are saying Peter Kenneth is our son and he's qualified. Peter Kenneth got into leadership when he was only 28 years. He was a chairman of KFF, where he played his role very well. He was a member of parliament for Gatanga for 10 years. And Kenyans know what he did for Gatanga. And he's not.
County governments have been urged to realign their county integrated development plans, also known as CIDPs, to fit into the post-COVID-19 contingency plans. Northeastern Regional Population Coordinator Moses Ouma says devolved units will have to suspend some of their projects and reallocate more resources to the fight against the spread of the coronavirus.
Northeastern Regional Population Coordinator Moses Ouma says challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic require a multi-agency approach. According to Ouma, the best approach is planning on how best to manage the health crisis that has adversely affected livelihoods.
It is important we engage Commission for Revenue Allocation, not to use population as an indicator for resource allocation, because having a large population also requires more resources to cater for this population. But if it is we have a managed population, then I'm very sure the little resource we receive, be it from the national government, what we raise locally as the county government, and whatever we receive in form of grants or donor support, then it will be able to meet the needs of that managed population.
The coordinator said the most affected are women and girls, adding that more funding should be channeled towards programs that address challenges affecting them. Ouma urged parents to be more involved in the lives of their children, especially now that a reopening of schools has been suspended until early next year.
Parents are called upon to take parental responsibility, be there for their children, sit down with their children, discuss, agree, because there is no any other alternative because of this COVID-19, rather than parental responsibility and ensuring that our children are safe till that time the schools will be open.
On his part, Garissa County Finance CEC Roble Nuno said that the county has reallocated resources from various projects by giving priority to the presidential directive of establishing 300-bed capacity facilities for COVID-19 patients in each county.
Projects or plans that we had to implement in this financial year, the end of financial that has ended, we had to cancel and vote those funds for the implementation or getting preparedness for any eventualities that may arise.
Several places of worship in Nairobi have announced that they will remain closed despite the government directive allowing phased reopening to congregants beginning Tuesday next week. All Saints Cathedral Provost Sami Wainaina says the church will not be reopening to allow the Interreligious Task Force to develop specific protocols suited to their context. The places of worship that will remain closed include Parklands Baptist Church, Jubilee Christian Church, Sitem, and Jamia Mosque.
As the leadership of the cathedral have decided that we are not going to open. Remember, we have over 7,000 people who come here on Sunday and during the week, and so numbers could be a challenge. While we may have mechanism to control that, we are more concerned about our preparedness as a cathedral. We don't feel we are ready to receive people here. We need to have washing points. We need to put more equipment in place. We need to be very clear on who is coming, who is not coming at this time. And so we have put a task force that will be discussing about the protocols of opening the church. So we have the general protocols, but we have now the cathedral ones, which will apply to our context. So we can't say when we are going to open the cathedral, no, but we'll continue to do the online services, the KBC on Sunday at 11, and we must thank KBC a lot.
And in other matters, families in the country have been challenged to take advantage of this time when most learners are at home to inculcate good morals in the children as well as endeavor to learn and understand their children. University of Nairobi Don Dr. Ali Sudingo says COVID-19 is helping family unit restate itself and gel as the critical unit of an upright society.
A University of Nairobi Don is now urging parents to seize the opportunity provided by the prolonged closure of schools to build a cohesive family, which is the critical foundation of society, by getting to know each other better.
This is the most beautiful time the world has ever had, to relook at ourselves, because many times we pretend when we are outside, but now we are all close together 24 hours. So we need to be real with ourselves and learn to uphold our morality, do the right thing, and live in harmony as a family unit and as a national unit.
Dr. Odingo, who is also a soroptomist, said that the peculiar behavior exhibited by Kenyans who poorly wear their face masks and only when the police are watching is a clear indication of a society on the brink of decadence and in need of re-evaluation.
When we see a police vehicle or a motorcycle coming, we put on the mask. The time they go, we pull it down, okay? It means that we have not understood why we are wearing the masks. We think the government is oppressing us by giving us this mask to wear. We do not know that we are wearing the mask to protect our own selves and our neighbors. and also to help us escape this pandemic period.
She urged the government to use the current opportunity presented by the global pandemic to develop systems through which to develop a vaccine for COVID-19, noting that it will soon be a multi-billion endeavor which the country's researchers and scientists can take advantage of.
Vaccine, should be made within that country to deal with the viruses within that environment. And I feel our government should put structures in place to be able to develop vaccines for the nation. And I feel that because vaccines are used over a long period of time, there's a lot of expenditure in them, but also it is also a business.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Judith Akolo.
Let's now cross our borders, where Mali President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has announced the dissolution of the Constitutional Court in an attempt to calm unrest that saw four people killed in street protest on Friday. Elsewhere, the Brexit debate is back as funds are set aside to help manage Britain's borders.
In the latest development in Mali's politics, President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has dissolved the constitutional court that overturned provisional results for parliamentary elections in March. The court has been at the center of controversy. There are growing calls for President Keïta to resign. He said he will not tolerate such violence. Opponents are unhappy with his handling of Mali's long-running jihadist conflict and economic crisis and the disputed elections. On Saturday evening, media reports described the capital as tense, with protesters blocking several roads with barricades. And plans to save the world's rarest antelope, the hirola, which is at the risk of extinction, are underway. They used to be a fairly common sight on the Kenya-Somali border, but in recent years the number of hirola or hunter's antelope has dropped to fewer than 500 in the wild. They are now listed at critical risk of extinction. A Kenyan, Abdullahi Hussein Ali, has launched a conservation program to help save them. And in the United Kingdom, the Brexit debate is back on track as a £705 million funding package to help manage Britain's borders has been announced. UK is preparing to leave the European Union Customs Union at the end of the year. Plans include new border control posts and 500 extra border force staff. Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove said the move would help the UK seize the opportunities post-Brexit. The UK left the EU on the 31st of January and now is on an 11-month transition period, including which existing trade rules and membership of the customs union and single market apply. The Labour Party has accused the government of complacency in its preparations for the end of the Brexit transition period.
Let's take a look at some sports now, where Sheffield United continued their push for European qualification as they moved into the English Premier League top six with a convincing win over informed Chelsea at Bramall Lane. David McGoldrick's first Premier League goal opened the scoring, pouncing after Kepa Arrizabalaga had saved brilliantly from a deflected Oli McBurney shot in the 18th minute. Chelsea's defense was shaky and they were ruthlessly punished just 15 minutes later when Ender Stevens crossed and McBurney was left completely unmarked in the 6-yard box to power home simple header. The damage was completed when McGoldrick capitalized on a dreadful defense, makes up to plunder his second late in the second half. In other results, Liverpool was held to a 1-0 draw by Burnley as Man City hammered Brighton 5-0. And that's where we put a cap on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter has been Byron Abuli. Do stay up to date with the breaking news on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. Have yourself a very wonderful afternoon ahead.
College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET-approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Nairobi City has experienced a tremendous transformation in water provision as part of the war against the spread of coronavirus.
Tangu tanki letu hapa nyuma yangu nimefaidika sana.
93 boreholes in 3 months.
We had quick interventions.
We had water drilled